Hey Ma, did you see the CM Punk fight this weekend?
You mean the one where he got his fucking ass kicked for 15 minutes?
What do you think about all the people who say,
"Oh, you gotta respect CM Punk for trying"?
Fuck that! I have more respect for the surgeon who did Charlotte's fucked up pit job.
It's time for another wrestling podcast.
All right. Welcome to another wrestling podcast. I'm your Mark of Marks, Credo. This is episode 193.
And I'm Minority Mike.
And I am Angry Cooter, reminding you bitches not to tug your peckers.
There you go. Pay-per-view weekend, guys. Pay-per-view weekend coming up. A lot of things happening. But before any of that, there was a big fight on last week. Now, we come out once a week, but we're towards the end of the week of when this actually happened. But, guys, CM Punk is 0-2. I watched it on a shitty Facebook live stream. I didn't want to pay for anything. That's the new thing.
You're wrong, bro. He was 1-1 this week.
He was 1-1. He won his court case, but then he became 0-2 in the fighting world of MMA, guys. Now, I was surprised. For me, I don't watch a lot of MMA. I don't get to see it as much. You guys, Mike, you lived it. Cooter, you guys watch it. But for me, as a fan that never watches it, all the time, I was not glued to my seat, but I was into the fight only because I'm surprised it lasted more than a minute.
Because you're a mark.
Oh, yeah, that too. I'm surprised it lasted more than a minute.
You're a mark.
I liked the fight. I enjoyed it. My stream kept going down though because I was on Facebook video waiting for somebody to just stream it live. So I was
That's
in the
probably
hands
why
of
you
the...
liked it, because you didn't get to see it clearly.
My God.
But there was a lot of people online. You guys specifically hated it. I didn't mind it. I thought he did a lot better. Yes, it was like at one point he's just holding him down and it's kind of playing with him was kind of weird. But I'm happy he at least made it to 3 rounds. And I don't know, it sucked, but did he learn his lesson in the MMA world at least, guys? Is Punk done? Because he's definitely not going to have another match in UFC according to Dana White.
Can I be objective? And Mike, you might agree with this.
I'm going to go off, so go ahead.
I know you're going to go off. I watched the fight in the entire... I didn't watch it the night of. And I want to say this. He didn't look terrible in round 1. And the first minute of the second round. He had 6 okay minutes. It wasn't completely terrible. And then the raping began. It was a fucking shit show. I wonder... Look, he's a terrible fighter. He's a terrible fighter. There's just no way around it. We got to give him credit. He showed heart. Dude took a beating. I'll give him that. He took an ass whooping. That doesn't mean you belong where you're at. You shouldn't continue this for your own safety. Part of me is wondering if Mike Jackson did not try to finish the fight, because they could have stopped it a couple of times. I would say especially in the 3rd round and in the 2nd round. And I'm like, at what point the ref really should have stopped it? If I'm like, I don't want to hurt the fucking guy.
That pissed Dana White off too.
On him at will. And that's why I'm like, Dana, dude, like, what would you do? You're showing some compassion. Yeah, you want to see the finish. I get it, but it's fighter safety too, man. I don't know.
Bullshit.
Did you hear Dana White's comment, though?
No, it should be a wrap, The guy's 39 years old. I love the guy. He's the nicest guy in the world. We gave him 2 shots, and he had a lot of heart tonight in this fight. And, I think you should call it a wrap.
What do you think about the heart that he showed in the fight today?
No, he did, man. Listen, he got clipped a lot in that fight. It looked like he was hurt bad a couple of times. He stayed in there. He went for 3 rounds. Michael Jackson, I'm not happy with. This guy was acting like a football tonight. You get this opportunity to come in and fight CM Punk, and you're doing like bolo punches to the body on top. Never looked like he was trying to finish the fight ever. Right? Looked like he could have finished the fight a few times. Never tried. I don't know what that guy did for a living before we gave him the shot, but whatever it was, he needs to go back and do that again. He's 0-2 as far as I'm concerned.
Well, to that point, it seemed like he was trying to milk it to stay on TV longer? Did you get that sense?
I got the sense that he's a complete fucking idiot, and I couldn't wait for that fight to end, and I regretted not putting it on Fight Pass. That's how I felt about it. 4 o'clock.
And my last question is, you did talk about Mike Jackson. Is that it for his UFC career? Or
Yeah, that's it for his UFC career. Yeah, I wouldn't put that kid in the Contender Series.
I'm gonna go off on this, guys. I'm sorry. Like, I mean, the first fight, everyone's just like, oh, you gotta respect him. He followed his dreams. He fulfilled his dreams. He went in there against a guy like Mickey Gall, and this was September 10th, 2016. Remember that date because that's going on 2 years ago. Okay? It's going on 2 years ago in September.
And
Okay,
a year after he got his
whipped.
contract.
He got his ass whipped by a guy at a caliber of Mickey Gall. He didn't belong in that fight. Okay, I respect the fact that he went in there and fought fucking Mickey Gall, a guy who is now a black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Congratulations, you got your moment. Walk away while you can. But instead, you want to fight again. Okay. Well, in my mind, I'm like, okay, cool. Well, you are surrounding yourself with the best coaches in the world in Duke Rufus, and you are surrounding yourself with killers. I'm talking, that gym has the Pettis brothers, Tyrone Woodley, Ben Asterix. I can go on, and there's so many up-and-coming guys. So iron sharpens iron. If you go into that gym and you spend 2 years in that gym, I expect you to come out looking like a killer, at least on that level. Then comes Saturday night, and holy shit, he looked like a kid on his first day sparring in karate class. It was a fucking joke, and I am so, and granted, people listening and you guys, you want to respect him for that, fine. I can't tell you not to. Respect him. I, on the other hand, will not respect him.
Oh, I never said I respected him. I never said I respected him.
I never said you. I said anybody who's listening.
I tweeted
anybody
I respect
in general,
him. I respect him.
You want to respect him, fine. I'm not going to take that away from you. I will not respect him because you spent 2 fucking years in that fucking gym and you didn't learn shit. You didn't, like, you're throwing these horrible spin kicks.
How about the spinning backhand?
He had no business fucking throwing that. I am so sick and tired of people glorifying what Punk did. Oh, he followed his dreams. Batista followed his dreams. He had a fight in MMA. Okay, he fought with a rinky-dink promotion where he knew where his level was, and he fought a bum. It's just like I don't buy this dream talk anymore. It's like you got a $500,000 payday. You fought a guy who's not even on the elite level and an amateur level. Okay, he went out there and he could have finished the fight. Part of me was just like, oh, this guy can't finish the fight. I guess he sucks that bad. But no, he was out there fucking showboating. Fucking idiot. Oh my god. In my opinion, it was the worst fight in UFC history. People are arguing, oh, it wasn't the worst fight in UFC history. It was pretty good. Come on, man. Don't show me Fast and the Furious 7 and tell me it's the fucking Godfather, because that's not the case.
I think the James Toney fight with Randy Couture was pretty fucking bad too.
James Toney at least had a chance, a puncher's chance. CM Punk went out there and just embarrassed the sport. I mean, the one time when he just like literally jumped on Mike Jackson and clawed onto him for dear life. Like, that was just so it embarrassed the sport. I mean, the undercard, the guys that were on FX, the guys that were on Fight Pass, deserved to be on that. I mean, it was like the UFC decided it was like a Make-A-Wish. You know, it's like they took a Make-A-Wish kid and threw him out there. Like, hey, there you go, kid. Follow your dreams. Go out there and fight. You get to fight Mike Jackson, an 0-1 photographer. Okay, the guy's a fucking photographer, and he was just as bad. And he lost to Mike Jackson. And I'm going off right now, and I'm just gonna say this: like, Punk was probably the best at professional wrestling, and he adapted to professional wrestling. I don't understand how he didn't adapt to mixed martial arts, spending 2 years in one of the best gyms in the world. That just tells me that A, he's a fucking slow learner, and doesn't pick up shit, or B, he didn't spend as much time as he's telling us, and he just went in there when he pleased, and this was just a payday for him. I don't respect him. I'm happy this fucking sideshow circus is over. Let's move on. I hate that sport is being embarrassed.
Here I am supposed to be the fucking angry one.
I
God
stole
damn.
your pick. I'm sorry.
God damn.
Well, what do you guys think about Mike Jackson now, too, to where, Dana White was angry with him after the fight? How does this guy get another fight now? I mean, is that going to cost him for not, finishing the match, if you will? Because it definitely looked like he held on to it for a little bit.
Dana definitely said in the audio clip that, he's not fighting in the UFC. To him, he's 0-2. He's a fucking dumbass. And I agree with Dana. I mean, like, not for nothing, but granted, you talk about fighter safety earlier, but it's like, when you're in the UFC, like, I heard one guy say that, he kneed the hell out of Alistair Overeem, and even though Alistair Overeem was out cold, he still jumped on him and threw hammer fists because he had that fear of him getting up.
Yes. Okay.
And so, like, when that happens, all that shit goes out the window, fighter safety. You got to finish that fight. You don't stop. And I know from experience, no matter what, you don't stop fighting until the ref stops it. You don't care. I mean, granted, at the end of the day, you don't want to kill your opponent. You don't want to hurt them. But at the end of the day, I'm not going to let up on somebody because I'm going to feel bad for them. I'm going to keep hitting you until the ref stops it. And Mike Jackson had so many opportunities. And I think he could have finished the fight. That's how bad Punk was. I honestly think
Punk was so out of gas. That's the thing about that was driving me nuts. It was like, dude, at what point he did? Like I said, to me, he didn't look terrible in that first round. And even Joe Rogan is like, he could have won that first round. And if you look at the score of the cards, 30-26, you could have said that those. Well, no. You know what? I take that back. None of the judges gave him that first round, but even Rogan's like, he could have potentially won. They could have gave him that round.
And I love Joe Rogan on this fight because he was just he wasn't holding back. He was telling how it was. He was. People were like, oh, he's burying him. No, he's not burying him. He's telling the fucking truth. He's not.
Let me end it with this. To all the fucking fuckboys out there who want to respect CM Punk, you're the same fuckboys who like to sit there and say, we hate that everybody gets a trophy mentality, but you want to give one to Punk. Eat a dick, bitches.
The guy made $500 million, or $500 million. Wow, he made $500,000 for that fight. I don't feel bad for him.
Half of it's gonna have to go back to getting his jaw refixed. There you go.
Well, I respect Punk for what he did, and let's hope he doesn't come back anytime soon. So take that money, enjoy it, and stay out of MMA, I guess, for the rest of
your life.
But speaking of Punk, he was also in another part of the news this week because Brock Lesnar has been holding on to that Universal Championship for 435 days. I know it's up a few more days by now, too.
I got a quick thought, man, because, Vince McMahon is a petty motherfucker. He's so petty. I mean, we've all been so tired of this Brock Lesnar fucking title run, and it's like there's not going to be any end. And when it does end, we're going to get stuck with an asshole like Roman Reigns. I mean, he did the same thing because Demolition did something that, I guess, were they suing him or some shit like that in court? And then what?
It was like a lawsuit or something.
Yeah, some lawsuit. And they can't be the longest reigning tag team champs. Let's give it to the New Day. Oh, great. You're so petty. Oh, I fucking hate him sometimes.
I think when it comes to that, I think it doesn't matter who has the title at the time. If he wants to, outreign somebody, if you have the title, you are in luck. You are at the right place at the right time.
WWE riding the D of Kenny Omega with this whole branding for Xavier Woods battling him out in Street Fighter. It's funny because now they're posting stuff on their network of a vintage clip of Kenny Omega in Deep South Wrestling or something like that. It's interesting to me because it's interesting that, yes, it's not on WWE TV per se on Raw or SmackDown, but it's all over social media, and it's I don't know, not the first time, but I can't think of any time in recent history that they're kind of like promoting, a WWE guy going against somebody else that's not in the WWE, a guy who just became the IWGP Heavyweight Champion. It's interesting with the Bucks and New Day and Kenny Omega. What do you guys think about this? Is it's smart for them to be branding this just to get those clicks on social media, or what?
Yo, clicks or cash. Don't argue that point, Credo. Every click, you're getting some change in your pocket. So you know what? I would bastardize myself any chance and I would bastardize anybody if I could get a click and somebody would pay me for it. Goddamn right. Fuck money, baby.
I think right off the heels of Omega winning the IWGP title, I think it's the hottest thing in wrestling right now, and the WWE is just kind of riding those coattails, and they're taking advantage of this right now, because I think I found out from this whole thing with Xavier Woods tweeting about it in E3, and all of a sudden WWE saw it and they just grabbed on it, and they're like literally riding the wave with this. I mean, they are like you said, they posted vintage clips of Kenny Omega. They're posting stuff about the Young Bucks, which I saw someone tweet this and it was great. The WB is tweeting the Young Bucks, and the Young Bucks need to send them a cease and desist for using their Twitter handles, and that just to get them back from the whole thing from the Raw invasion. Yeah, man, it's like it's crazy to see this, and like now there's this news going out there. Triple H is talking about how there could be a big promotion event coming up, a cross promotion between the WWE and New Japan, and this is the stem cell of it right here. So I mean, that would be great for professional wrestling.
Yeah, definitely loving what they're doing. It's definitely what's needed in this age of multimedia, social media, everything. It's good to reach out and work with other companies, and you don't have to just be in the WWE to at least work with them. But anyway, guys, we're going to have a lot of stuff pretty soon on both pay-per-views coming up. But stay tuned. We have Ring of Honor superstar, the Octopus, Jonathan Gresham. All right, joining us today is a Ring of Honor superstar who should be on everyone's radar. He is the Octopus, Jonathan Gresham. Jonathan, man, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
You've been a rising star in Ring of Honor recently. You signed full-time. How has it been for you adjusting to Ring of Honor?
I've been in and out of Ring of Honor since about 2015, but it's been a learning experience. I've learned a lot about myself, about other wrestlers as well, and I'm just enjoying the ride.
Definitely, man. Now, I was reading in an interview that you had, we're saying that, you're 5'4", but you say people doubted you getting into wrestling. Can you explain a little bit about that?
That goes back to before I actually started wrestling a little bit, and then when I started wrestling, hitting some of the independent companies that were around Georgia when I was coming up, because that's where I'm originally from, just me trying to climb the card and people trying to tell me my place, or what they thought my place was, which was opening the show all the time, and I felt like I wanted more. I felt like I could be more, so I left my comfort zone and had to start finding places that saw me differently.
Wrestlers of your stature were typically boxed into specific roles. Is that what you're kind of saying, to where they just kept you into that one role?
Yeah, they expected one thing, but when I wanted to deliver something different and be different, because I feel like, there should be different styles in every weight class. It's like boxing or mixed martial arts or anything like that. So, that's just my thought process towards it, and a lot of people just didn't want to accept it during that time.
No, definitely. Now, when you said you started Ring of Honor, it goes back to 2011. You were in the top prospect tournament. Is that correct?
Yeah, I think that was the first one they ever did. Yeah.
No, yeah, and I was going to say, to where having this kind of a tournament and trying to earn your way into Ring of Honor, if you will, was that a good learning experience for you, just being in that tournament?
Yeah. When I thought I was ready, I guess I wasn't ready. And when I was in the Top Prospects tournament in 2011, I learned that. So that's what kind of helped me take the leap and move. I moved soon after that. I moved to Europe. I lived in France for the entire year of 2012, and that's when I started to pick up more opportunities in Japan and around Europe. So that really helped me figure out my style and what I needed to do to get better.
You were quoted as saying, "I always told myself that I wanted to be a pioneer of a style in professional wrestling, and that's what you're trying to do." Can you explain a little bit about that, and what for the fans out there to understand what you're doing?
I like to say my style is a mix between Lucha Libre and the old school British style of wrestling. For the most part, I just run into a lot of guys on the indies for a long time that just had trouble with being a smaller competitor and just breaking onto the bigger shows, and it's because some of them might not be as athletic as some of the like top guys like the Ricochets and the Will Ospreays, and it's like, well, there are different genres of wrestling out there. We just have to find them and then become good at them and push them forward, no matter what other people want to say. Because I mean, in the heavyweight division, there's high flyers there, and they're just hard hitters and technical wrestlers. But in the cruiserweight division, they only want to keep us as high flyers, and I'm not really sure why that is. So for me, I just wanted to push a style forward to let people know that, hey, just because we're cruiserweights, we don't have to high fly. We can do several other things.
If you had to pick some wrestlers from the past, maybe that define you, who are they?
Oh man, I really can't say because I was influenced by so many people from different generations. So I just can't pick one really. There's several I can talk about. Steve Gray, of course, Johnny Saint, Johnny Kidd, Cat Weasel from the World of Sport time, Negro Navarro from Lucha Libre, Blue Demon Juniors. The list goes on. Most recently, Alex Shelley, Brian Danielson, Colt Cabana, guys that I've been able to meet. And some of them I've actually been able to work with, like Chris Hero and Alex Shelley as well. Had a big influence on me. Kotoi Daka from 01 in Japan. I can go on, man, so I really can't pick one.
No, of course. Now, you've pretty much worked a lot of different places, from Shikara to CZW, and then into Ring of Honor. Everybody's doing something like maybe like a different style. Was that maybe hard to adapt to as a young wrestler, just getting into the business, just learning all the different styles?
No, because where I was from in Georgia, Mr. Hughes taught us like the basics of professional wrestling, and once he pretty much was finished with me, I learned everything he had to go help the other guys. I just kind of sought after, different things. That's when I found, Ring of Honor back in 2005. And then I found, Chikara wrestling. And that's when I really started picking up and wanted. I've seen Lucha Libre and stuff, but it really didn't click with me until I actually became a professional wrestler that, there's different like styles, and people can be entertained by them separately, and I really liked the idea of being able to say, hey, I'm a luchador, or hey, I'm a technician, or hey, I'm a brawler. You know what I mean? Like, I really like that. And that's what I wanted to become, was a technical wrestler. And so when people look at me, they go, oh, you're a technical wrestler. So it wasn't really difficult for me at all.
No, sure. In the age of iPads and smartphones, being able to stream wrestling nowadays, especially with the Honor Club on Ring of Honor, ROHWrestling.com, do you feel as a professional wrestler this is maybe just more extremely beneficial, or just not lucky, but I mean, because now people can see you all over the world without having to maybe have a certain channel or get a certain cable network. If you're a wrestling fan, you're able to, log into the computer and just watch you guys from anywhere in the world. How does that feel to where, I don't know, as a wrestler, knowing that, yeah, you might not be on so-and-so station in, California or New York or whatnot, but hey, no matter what, everybody's got a computer. They can watch you anywhere in the world. Does that like click with you, knowing that, everything you do in Ring of Honor at least can just be, streamed everywhere?
No, I really haven't thought about it that much. To be honest, I think the age we're in now, where everything is so accessible, I think is really awesome because, like you said, people that are across the world can now watch Ring of Honor. A lot of them don't get a chance to see live events, and vice versa with us watching, I don't know, DDT Pro Wrestling or whatever. Normally you have to like search online. Daily Motion was like one place that you have to go to find it, but now they have a streaming service, and so does I think All Japan now. So I think it's really great that all these companies are able to have their shows online for people to see. Man, I think it's a great time to be a fan. As far as me, no, it really hasn't, clicked with me at all. I haven't really thought about it that much.
Well, sure. Well, everybody listening too, I mean, this weekend they can do just that too. We'll be able to stream the events this weekend for Ring of Honor for Honor Club. So Friday night though, you have a big match. You got you against Cody for the first time in San Antonio. What can you tell the fans? What can Cody Rhodes expect from you this Friday? And I know you guys are also going to be in Dallas on Saturday. But starting off, what can the fans, being able to watch you live on the Honor Club against Cody Rhodes, any words for him?
I don't necessarily have any words for him. I know, he's got a lot on his mind with all the title matches he has coming up. And for me, this is one of the biggest matches of my Ring of Honor career. Of course, I'm looking for a win. And I'm not going to let his accolades or his status get in the way of me trying to get the win or distract me from that. And that's pretty much all I have to say about that.
No, definitely. Well, Jonathan, man, last but not least, where can the fans out there keep up with you on social media? Where can they follow you and all that fun stuff?
I'm on my Instagram is basically just me taking pictures of my cat, so I wouldn't tell him that. But my Twitter is mostly wrestling stuff, so it's just at @DJohnGresham, and I get on that often. So.
All right. Well, Jonathan Gresham, man, thank you so much. We wish you nothing but the best in your future. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
All right, guys, NXT TakeOver Chicago is happening this weekend also. And, we were just saying before the show, I was like, I forgot that NXT TakeOver was happening this weekend because I'm so used to it happening on WrestleMania, on SummerSlam, Survivor Series. I forget that there's one.
You're too busy watching replays of CM Punk getting his ass whooped.
Nothing but respect for Punk, guys. But one big thing before we get into all the matches, though, one thing that's going to be missing, it's like the X missing in NXT, is that Mauro Ranallo will not be calling it this weekend. He's going to be doing boxing or something like that on Showtime. He said it's a blessing to have multiple jobs, which it is, but no Mauro, guys. Does that take away from this weekend? Because I just love him, his play-by-play. He actually, the passion behind his calls, guys. Is no Mauro gonna ruin your weekend for NXT?
It doesn't surprise me because Vic Johnson has been working with, oh God, what's his fucking name?
Percy
Watkins and Nigel McGuinness, and I'm like, oh God, and they don't sound bad together. Vic Johnson's getting better, but I mean, CM Punk is also getting better as a fighter, so what does that tell you?
Yeah, Vic's got he's got some big shoes to fill. He better start learning how to yell and better come with a catchphrase soon.
Mamma mia! I am going to miss that. I mean, seriously, and on any broadcast, fucking the announcers really do make those shows better. I mean, fuck. That's Ricochet and goddamn Velveteen Dream. The match I want to see more than anything else on this card, and to not have that call by Mauro Ranallo is a travesty.
A good segue, Cooter, because I was just going to bring that up. I mean, looking at the whole card in general, I mean, not to take away anything from anybody on this, but that's the match I want to see this weekend, Ricochet versus The Dream. Could they steal the show this weekend? I know there were some reports out there that were saying that Ricochet might be injured, but he's not. He was just taking a few days off because he hurt his shoulder on a house show this week.
You guys see that video?
It was crazy. I saw it, yeah. If you guys haven't seen it, just look it up. If you guys know how to use YouTube and whatnot,
Ricochet is like, I don't even know if he's human. Most guys would be injured for that, man.
What did he do?
He tried a suicide dive, and a lot of people are criticizing that it could be Dream's fault for not catching him, or Ricochet could have just overshot it. It could have went either way. From the angle of the video, you couldn't really tell, but he literally just went. Yeah, he literally went flying. Just literally a suicide dive through the ropes right to the floor.
Yeah, I was like, oh, nobody even tried to help catch him.
Painful.
Is that worse than The Undertaker at WrestleMania when Sim Snuka didn't catch him?
I don't know. It's different because the Taker had a lot more weight on him going down there. So I don't know about that one. But yeah, man. So luckily this match will still be as is. I think that's what they were saying. But guys, I mean, two guys that could possibly steal this weekend. I'm looking forward. We all just said we're looking forward to it. But who's going to win at the end of the day?
Velveteen Dream's got some steam behind him. I'm digging the character. I know he was on the list of Credo. I know you hate the name. But I'm telling you, this guy is talented. He's got the crowd in the palm of his fucking hands. I mean, I'd like to see him get a little bit of a push. I'm hoping to see him maybe in a program against Adam Cole.
Yeah.
Two heels?
Yes. I don't give a fuck. I don't play this whole bullshit, you motherfuckers. But you gotta have a traditional heel versus face. Fuck you.
I knew that'd get him going.
Fuck you. I want to see two talented stars beat the fucking shit out of each other, and steal the
Well-
show. Fuck you, Mike.
That was my goal. All right, guys, let's get back on the topic. I don't think a loss will hurt Velveteen. I think he's good regardless, win or lose.
Yeah.
I think with the momentum that Ricochet is coming in, he on paper should be the guy winning. I mean, like Kudu said, I'm good either way. I don't think a loss will hurt Velveteen. I do think a loss might kind of bring Ricochet a peg or two back. But this is a match that I am actually interested in. It's not the match that I'm looking forward to this card, but it's not the match I'm most anticipating.
I got to say though, I think Velveteen needs a big win. I mean, he did the job to Alistair, rightfully so. He had a great showing in that North American title match with the ladder. It's his time, man. He needs a little bit. I mean, again, it doesn't hurt him, but I think this is the time where you could really elevate him. And I don't think a loss really hurts Ricochet in his first one-on-one on a pay-per-view.
Especially if he pulls off some heel move, as far as pinning him. So it's not a clean pin, but still, yeah. Either way, that's going to be great. The NXT Tag Team Championship, the Undisputed Era versus Oney Lorcan and Danny Burch. Whatever. I mean, I'm not too much into it. It is what it is. I'm sure it'll be good. The NXT Women's Championship, Shayna Baszler versus Nikki Cross. I feel like this has been building up forever, even before Mania. Shayna retaining? I mean, Nikki Cross kind of stayed back from her push onto SmackDown, so she never went anywhere. So it's kind of earlier, I guess, right, to even switch the Women's Championship, if you will, right?
This is Nikki Cross's goodbye. I think this is her match before she joins Sanity on the main roster. I think this is it for her on NXT.
Yeah, I'd say that, and I think she deserves to be put up on the main roster. She just had so many great matches at NXT. It's a shame she never got to hold the strap. I don't see them taking it off Shayna. But you know what? Stranger things have happened. They've always thrown that swerve at us, like they did a few times with Nakamura and Samoa Joe, and we were just like, well, it's going to be this guy's goodbye, and lo and behold, we were fucking swerved again, so whatever. Fuck 'em.
Easy enough. One thing, I don't know if you guys feel the same way about this, the NXT Championship championship match, Aleister Black versus Lars Sullivan. Is it me? Like, I love Aleister Black. I love his entrance. I love everything about him. There's nothing I hate, but I feel like he needs somebody else to feud with besides Lars yet. I don't know. I feel like he hasn't feuded. I mean, Andrade, he's feuded with a little bit, and then they moved him right up. Like, I feel like there wasn't a long enough program to maybe elevate Aleister a little bit with that championship before moving on to somebody else. I don't know. I just feel like there's nothing wrong with him. I don't hate him. It's just, I don't know. I feel like I thought they would give him somebody else maybe to feud with before Lars Sullivan in a way, but maybe there's just nobody left around, I guess.
It's a shame when the NXT Championship should close the show. I think the main title should close any show. That's just the way I look at it. Of course, you have to close the show with Gargano and Ciampa, but I mean, this match is going to be a dud. I don't think Lars has what it takes to really put on a strong, good 15, 20-minute match against somebody like Aleister Black. His first one-on-one matchup on a pay-per-view was with Cassius Ohno, and what a shitstorm that was. So he's had a few decent matches and mostly squashes on fucking NXT television, and now he's up against the champ. It's like he kind of came out of nowhere, and I don't think he's really ready for this spot. I hope Aleister just makes short work of him, and we put him in a program with somebody who deserves to be in title contention.
Yeah, this is a placeholder match. This is just something to kind of just like kill time until they establish a number one contender. Because if you really look at the roster right now, I mean, Adam Cole's busy. He's defending the North American champion at an Evolve show against Walter. Ricochet and Velveteen Dream have their own feud going on. They're still building up EC3. Cassius Ohno is running around jobbing to everybody.
Getting fatter as he does it.
Yeah, he's getting bigger and bigger. Pete Dunne is feuding with the Undisputed Era. They really don't have anybody right now to challenge Aleister Black. And I think the only guy that they were sort of building up as a monster was Lars Sullivan. I mean, the way he took out Ricochet and Velveteen Dream the one week, And I mean, they pretty much gave it to him. It's just a spot to hold down until they establish somebody to take that role going into Brooklyn in the summertime.
Sure, yeah.
Let me ask you a question. Who do you think has sloppier tits, Cassius Ohno or Charlotte Flair?
I'd still.
That never gets old to me. Oh, thank God. Let's go.
Still after Charlotte Flair.
I would too. I had to throw the titty joke in there. It just came to me.
You know, I don't know if you guys noticed. She's got really nice teeth now. Ever since she got her teeth knocked out, she got this new fake teeth in. Looks really nice.
Well, there you go.
Let's continue talking about NXT.
Well, guys, last but not least, which probably will be the main event, Johnny Gargano versus Tommaso Ciampa. This seems like it's been a long feud, not to where I'm complaining, but I can't remember how many matches they've already had with each other. But
one.
But it's a Chicago street fight. It's been one of the biggest feuds they've had in NXT this past year. But guys, after this match, where do we go from this feud? Because I almost feel like it should have ended a while ago, or I thought it ended a while ago, but then, Gargano came back. He won his way back to NXT and whatnot, and we're still fighting with Tommaso. But at the end of the day, I mean, where are they taking this? Is there going to be a final match of this, or is this going to be the final feud for them? Or are we going to bring it all the way to SummerSlam, or what are we weekend, or what are we doing with Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa pretty much at the end of the day? Because when is the end game for them? I mean, I would assume these guys would have moved up, but I think they're still going to keep them around for a while. Or should they just put them in separate directions where now Tommaso is feuding with somebody totally different and Gargano is probably going for the NXT Championship? What's the end game for these guys?
First off, you shouldn't even have an opinion on this because you don't like Johnny Gargano and you think Tommaso Ciampa's a dick. So you just need to be quiet, Credo.
I gotta keep the ball rolling. I gotta say something.
I know.
It's like being the fake
Let
nice.
the professionals take care of this.
Being the fake nice. The professionals.
All right, listen.
Mute his mic. Mute his mic.
There's one more match. It's gonna be at SummerSlam weekend, and you know what? There's one match we haven't seen in NXT yet. The end-all, be-all to all feuds. I say SummerSlam weekend, NXT TakeOver Brooklyn. Tommaso Ciampa, Johnny Gargano, Hell in a Cell.
The rubber match?
The rubber match, baby.
Because I think Tommaso Ciampa gets the win this weekend in the street fight. I'm actually really into this feud. I think it has that old school blood feud mentality for me. It just, the way they built it up, like, I think it's just really appropriate storytelling from when they were just best friends. He was in his wedding party. They were tag team champions, and then boom, the turn happened. And it took a year. I mean, granted, the injury that happened, but that worked out perfectly. I mean, it worked so good, and I think they're doing great and amazing storytelling with this.
Yes,
and I think it can go on for one more match. I'd be into it. I know a lot of people that are listening would be into it. Credo won't be into it, but that's fine. He's entitled to that. But
Nothing but respect.
I respect them more than Punk. I just think this is the best feud in wrestling right now, in my opinion. That's my opinion. I think this is the best feud in wrestling
because it stayed fresh, and it's just like you said. It's been built up for so long, and it's been a long continuation. And even when Ciampa was fucking injured for all that time, they teased it a few times with the Almas feud and the DIY T-shirts, and like they always made sure you didn't forget and teased it. And they did a great job of him always losing these matches and trying to find himself after DIY. It's been fun to watch for the last it's got to be a year and a half, about a year now.
Yeah, I tell you, son, if this feud was on the main roster, it'd be dead in the water before it even started. They'd be wrestling each other every Monday on Raw.
Yeah.
Vince and them would just be, throw them out there again.
That's what I think what's going to happen with these two, to where they're great in NXT, the chemistry, the everything, the matches that work great. I tell you what, when they get to that main roster, man, I feel like they're going to have no idea what to do with them. And with Tommaso's size, and I don't know the weight on both of them, but they're almost 205 live material, if you will, right? I mean, they're not big guys, especially Tommaso. I mean, he looks skinnier and whatnot. That beard just adds weight to him. But other than that, I don't see that. Like, I'm afraid after they leave NXT, man, I feel like, oh, it's like the touch of death when you go to the main roster because they just don't know what to do with these guys and how to keep that feud going. So it's
they'll ruin that feud. They'll be fucking making tacos as soon as
dancing. And live it while you can, boys. Live it.
Like Bobby Roode twerking. Come on.
Oh God.
So live it while you can, guys.
I wouldn't have a problem with him on 205 though. I mean, that roster is getting better and better, and it's to me still is the best show, best weekly show they're putting on, the best live weekly show they're putting on.
We'll touch that on another day. Let's move on.
That's NXT, guys. Let's make our way over to the Money in the Bank. I feel like this has been going on for so long, and it's, right after WrestleMania, we had the Greatest Royal Rumble, and then we had Backlash all in 1 month. So now it's been a few weeks since we've actually had a pay-per-view, and it seems like forever.
We had a break for a while, yeah.
Yeah, it was a nice little break because I was like worried. I'm like, wait a minute, when's our pay-per-view? And then it's like not for 4 weeks. I'm like, really, 4 weeks? I forgot about this whole brand separation of the pay-per-views and whatnot. So it's nice, but we're here now. No particular order. We'll just start from where we can. Cooter, the WWE Championship. We know it's not going to main event, so let's just talk about it. AJ Styles versus Shinsuke Nakamura, last man standing. It's been nothing but dick shots for fucking a long time now, and it sucks that it's happening with these guys. Two of the most talented wrestlers they have in the industry going against each other, and all they can give them is fucking low blows to make this feud keep going. But it's now into the last man standing. Cooter, man, is it now or never for Nakamura? I mean, after this, I don't see him getting another championship match. And what do? I'm leaning towards a Nakamura win this weekend because if he does win, somebody could also cash in on him. So there's that possibility. But what do you think, man? Are we done with the AJ Styles and Shinsuke?
I think WWE will be done with it. And you know what? The story behind it has been terrible. But I really haven't had a problem with their matches. I know you guys, the low blows and the cheap endings. But, that's WWE writing. It's not NXT writing. I mean, they can't tell a good story. They're not going to have good finishes. This is probably going to be the finale. Shinsuke, I say, takes the loss. I think they're just riding too high on AJ right now. He's doing a fantastic job as the WWE champion.
Well, does that make his stock lower? Because, I mean, Shinsuke's had a WWE Championship match last year with Jinder Mahal, and he lost clean then. He's been having a great feud, and it's kind of boosting his stock up for the last few months with AJ. But I don't know. This match, to me, I see like a Naka win, or an AJ, if he does win, I see something maybe cashing in on this match that night just to, I don't know, give a boost to that championship again to where someone's got to chase it or AJ's got to chase it or something, or I don't know what, but something's happening with this championship that night. I feel. I don't know. It's a gut feeling.
I had a friend who only watches just WWE, doesn't watch anything outside of WWE. And I had him watch like the build up and then the match at Wrestle Kingdom with Nakamura and AJ, and he was just in amazement. He's like, "What the hell? Why can't they do this in the WWE? Like, why can't we get shit like this?" Well, it's the writing. The writing ruins the feud for these guys. And I'm sitting here like a couple months ago, I was like so excited for this match at WrestleMania. It was one of the most anticipated matches. And they didn't really deliver. And I don't blame the talent in the ring. I blame creative. This match, I think, I mean, I'm kind of like over it already.
Yeah.
If Nakamura gets the title, it would be in a heelish fashion. Some way he'll obviously cheat to get it. Maybe he'll touch another dick. I don't know. But,
nothing but respect for the dick.
Yeah, nothing but respect for the dick punch. Nothing but respect. That's the name of this episode. Nothing but respect.
Nothing but respect for them. But all right, so we got that happening. I mean, it's going to be interesting. There's a lot of stuff going on, so we'll see what happens. But guys, if you had to pick one person, who's walking out there that night as a champion, the WWE champion, I'm going to say Nakamura.
AJ Styles.
James Ellsworth.
Oh my God.
Yeah!
Moving on. Before we even get to that possibility, there is an interesting match with Nia Jax, the Raw Women's Champion, versus Ronda Rousey. Now, guys, this was booked it was on an NBC red carpet, and it was just like, oh, you want to fight me for the title? Okay. So it was kind of weird how they set this up, first of all. But second of all, the whole thing Ronda said before she even got into the WWE, or even when she was in it, was that I want to, work for it. I don't want to just be given opportunities. She had one fucking match at WrestleMania, some house show matches overseas, and a tag team match. Her first fucking solo singles wrestling match is for the Women's Championship. What are they doing? And because, at the end of the day, if Ronda Rousey loses, that's, you're taking like one of the biggest names in sports and you're just making her fucking job on her first solo match. But then again, Nia Jax loses. I don't know, not the end of the day for me, but what's happening? Because this is another match that, hey, somebody could be cashed in on that night, because if Ronda wins, she would be cashed in on, or Nia. But whose stock drops that night? Ronda's or Nia?
I'm telling you right now, they're way out of this match. Someone cashes in during the match. That's the only way that they're going to get out of this match. Well, Ronda doesn't, go over and get the championship, and Nia still loses but looks strong. She's going to get cashed in during the match. Now, this feud, I have to say, it was battle of the worst promos. Nia is terrible. How does she talk? I'm not like most girls. Like, be yourself. Like,
oh my God,
the way she talks, it's
like
just it's so terrible. And then you have Ronda.
You gotta work.
Ronda, who just you could tell she's reading stuff. Like, Monday was a little bit more passion behind Ronda on the microphone, but that doesn't benefit the weeks before that, where when she was on commentary, which was the absolute worst, where she had that weird line about her husband. If you guys don't remember that, it was very awkward. And that I honestly think someone cashes in during the match, and that's how the title gets taken away from the equation.
No.
Oh, I'm sorry, guys. I'm scrolling through my Twitter feed, and I hate Twitter.
Moving
on. That's what I feel. That's literally how I feel. Everything you guys just said, plus I just don't care.
You don't care about Ronda Rousey or Nia Jax?
I don't. I'm not a fucking mark.
Hey, they did make a belt extender for Nia, though. Have you seen her? She actually wears the belt around her waist now.
Not like most girls.
The tranny who looks like a dude, sounds like a dude, wrestles like a dude.
I love
probably
me some Nia, don't get me wrong. But I think this is a terrible position to put her in. You just had her knock off fucking Alexa Bliss. And the first feud you put her in is against somebody who we're supposed to let be built up. And this is what happens. So, again,
I think at the end of the day, the WB obviously did this for, the ratings and the cash grab, because, as much as we bitch about Ronda, being in that title picture, they're getting that mainstream media that they just absolutely are obsessed with Ronda wrestling for this title. It's getting outside coverage. They're accomplishing what they want. I can't, knock them for doing that, just to getting the coverage on a pay-per-view or an event like Money in the Bank. And this isn't WrestleMania, and we're getting that outside coverage. So kudos to them. Get off on your mainstream coverage, and let's move on.
You're a mark too, Mike. God damn it, you're a fucking mark.
Listen, they're doing what they have to do. Do I like it? Not really, but I understand it. It's business.
You said it right there too with the mainstream media coverage. That's the one thing where I'm saying Ronda's gonna win it, just for that press in the morning saying Ronda won the women's championship. But at the end of the day, it's going to make her fucking Roman Reigns. Everybody's just going to boo her. Damned if you do, damned if you don't. We'll see what happens. Maybe a cash-in. Who knows? But that's that. Cooter and Mike, there's another women's championship going on. The most decorated... No, not really. Carmella, the SmackDown Women's Champion, versus Asuka. And guys, I read online. I don't want to be involved with this, but I heard speculation of James Ellsworth being involved. Somehow.
let me say this. There's two reasons why Credo doesn't like this fucking match now. One, because of James Ellsworth, and two, because the champion is facing a Japanese superstar in the name of Asuka, you racist bastard who wants to give everybody a trophy because he has respect for everything.
Hey,
you guys notice every
Streak's
week that
done.
Carmella's lips get bigger? Anybody else notice that?
Holy shit. She's got like a dump truck's worth of collagen in those motherfuckers, bro.
She's getting a lot of Botox, man. And I'm talking about her lips and the Botox because this is how much I care about the match.
A lot of matches, they're not standouts for us. I mean, this is Money in the Bank. We're here to see the Money in the Bank matches because there's Daniel Bryan versus Big Cass, Roman Reigns versus Jinder Mahal, possibly Intercontinental Championship match, Seth Rollins versus Elias. It's like Raw 2.0.
Can I say something about the Roman and Jinder match? You want to have some real fucking heat. This is what they got to do. Okay, this match is we're in Chicago, guys. This match is going to get booed out of the fucking building. You want to get some heat where maybe, and this is like a small 1% chance the crowd might actually not cheer, but kind of really direct more of the boos towards Jinder and less on Roman.
I know where you're going.
What if Jinder walked out the Cult of Personality? What if the CM Punk theme just started playing and the crowd went nuts and then out walks Jinder Mahal? Holy shit. That would be fucking fantastic.
You know what, though? They would fucking love that. I don't know. I don't think no matter what you could do, I don't care what happens, that fucking crowd is going to be a bunch of assholes, and no matter what happens, they will cheer Jinder Mahal. He's going to be the most over wrestling personality in that fucking building that night.
So it is Money in the Bank. This is what we're here for. Let's start with the women's Money in the Bank ladder match. We have Ember Moon versus Charlotte Flair versus Alexa Bliss versus Becky Lynch versus Natalya versus Lana versus Naomi versus Sasha Banks. Guys, women's Money in the Bank. Last year, they ruined the first women's Money in the Bank by James Ellsworth actually grabbing it and not a woman. So that happened, and then they redo it just because of that, like a few weeks later or something like that on SmackDown.
Yeah, it was on SmackDown.
So they ruined the first match ever with that, and then having him do that. So now we're here. Out of all these women, guys, who do you think deserves it the most? Who do you want to win? At the end of the day, for my little picks, I think would be either Becky Lynch, who definitely needs something. I feel like since she went to SmackDown, she's just been hiding in the back. They haven't really used her at all. And a surprise pick, I'm going to go with Lana. Believe it or not, I know she sucks. I know she's not the greatest wrestler. But I don't know. Just the stuff they've been using with her the past few weeks, I'm almost assuming like it's going to be a Rusev Lana Money in the Bank win, but it's just a wild card pick for me. But I'm thinking Becky Lynch gets this, guys. I don't know anybody else in this match that, I don't know, really should have it or get it. What do you think?
I think Becky Lynch definitely does need that. I think out of all the girls, Natty could win too. And that could progress she could be the person that cashes in on the Raw Women's title match later on in the night. Those are my two picks right there.
Ooh, to break up, I didn't even think about that, break up the little friendship with Ronda, especially if Ronda won it and then Natalya cashed in on her or something like to that effect. But
telling she's going to cash in during the match.
I love it. What do you think, Cooter?
Oh, I'm with it. I think that's a great idea. Have Natty win and cash in during that match. Why not? But you know what? Save money for me. I say they give it to Charlotte Flair because what if Charlotte Flair was to cash in and ruin Ronda's day?
It's got to be brand. They've said it definitely a few times that whoever
they have said that.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, they said it to where they have to pick the brand. But I'll tell you what, if Charlotte Flair wins it, I think that would be good only for the fact that she doesn't have to win the championship for, like she could hold on to that briefcase till WrestleMania, just to keep her out of the title picture or something. Give her a gimmick to hold on for a little bit. She doesn't need to be a 16-time champion in 3 years. So that's the only thing I would want for Charlotte Flair to win on that. But I don't know. Any other thoughts on the women's Money in the Bank?
No, I'm actually. I would have liked to see some newer names in there. I would have loved to see a Ruby Riott in there, or a Liv Morgan. Just some different names, because it's the only really new person in that match. Well, Charlotte wasn't in it last year, if I'm mistaken.
Nope.
Or was she in it last year?
No, she was the champion. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. She was the champion. The only real new name is Ember Moon and I think Lana.
Yep.
If I'm not mistaken, it's like, okay, I'd like to see something different.
No, you have the Raw girls, because Money in the Bank was a SmackDown exclusive last year.
Yeah,
So
but it was on SmackDown last year.
Well, Sasha's in the match. This is her first Money in the Bank match.
Okay, all right.
Lana's first Money in the Bank. Ember Moon.
Naomi was in it last year. Becky
Was she
Lynch
in it last year?
She had to have been.
I don't know. No,
She
I might be wrong.
She was on SmackDown. She had to have been.
Well, it doesn't necessarily mean she had to have been.
Who the fuck else was on the roster, Mike?
I don't know. I have to look. Okay?
I think it's a pretty safe.
I think we're
bet.
spending too much time on this match.
All right. Okay. Don't get me fucking going, goddammit.
There you go. Well, it's a Money in the Bank, and last but not least, the men's Money in the Bank. Freaking loaded Money in the Bank. It's Braun Strowman, Finn Balor, The Miz, Rusev, Bobby Roode, Kevin Owens, New Day member yet to be decided, and Samoa Joe. First,
Does that piss anybody else off?
just pick who's going to be in it. Yeah.
Oh my God! Which one of those three idiots are we putting in the fucking match?
I say Big E. I think there's been talk behind Big E getting a little bit of a push, so I could see him doing it. Xavier Woods, I don't know, and Kofi Kingston, just, I don't know. Honestly, at the end of the day, any one of them, it doesn't really matter, because I don't really see any one of them winning it. Could be a surprise, but guys, Braun Strowman, the Beast, he's been pretty much dominant. If you give him it, I thought of a dream scenario to where if Braun Strowman won the Money in the Bank, I would literally have him walk out on every Raw saying, I want to cash it in. But they would have to say, what, Brock's not here tonight, just to make fun of that whole fucking, he wants to cash it in, but the champion's not around. I thought that might be funny for a few weeks if he kept doing that, but somebody like Braun Strowman, to where everybody wants a championship on him right now, I think giving him the briefcase would be great. But then you have, Finn Balor, who is a Universal Champion. Now he has nothing really going for him. Giving him the briefcase would be good. What do you think, guys? Because I know a lot of people, too, want The Miz. There's a lot of other cases out there. What do you think, though? I'm a Braun Strowman supporter. I want to see Braun Strowman with that case at the end of the day, though.
I don't think Braun needs it.
No.
I don't think he needs it. I personally, my opinion, I want The Miz, because you could do so much with that. There's so much storytelling that can happen for the future if The Miz holds that briefcase. Finn Balor is a guy who definitely needs something. The briefcase could help him. Kevin Owens is a guy, too, who can use that briefcase, and I think you give him the briefcase, and that's going to go a million miles.
Yeah.
With him, the way he talks. But the guy who I personally think is going to walk out of there is The Miz.
You know what? I have to agree with that. There's just such great shit that you could do with that. I mean, Bobby Roode, as a heel, would have been perfect for that spot.
Absolutely.
I mean, could you imagine the personality he played on NXT television with the Money in the Bank contract as this over the fucking crazy fucking heel that's so over, and we get him twerking. and the other thing I want to say is, whatever member of you talk about Big E getting a push. I got a great idea. Why don't we push all three of them out the fucking door already? Enough with the fucking pancakes!
I know, it's a little bit much, I guess, guys. Come on, New Day having it, we'll see what happens. But, I mean, we all have different picks. How about this? Out of the two Money in the Banks, though, do you see one of them cashing in night of? Is there a good possibility of those matches we talked about?
Has anybody done that?
Yeah,
yes. Kane. Was those recently? It wasn't
Dean
somebody
Ambrose.
else?
No, it was Ambrose. That's what I was thinking.
Ambrose.
Kane doesn't count because that was at WrestleMania, wasn't it?
No, it was at a Money in the Bank pay-per-view.
Ambrose was the recent one. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Kane cashed in on Rey Mysterio.
You know what I'm thinking of? Didn't Kane win the ECW title at WrestleMania or some shit?
Yeah, in 13 seconds.
Yeah, but was it after he won a Battle Royal or some shit? Yeah,
That's Chavo.
That's what I was thinking of. my apologies. Money in the Banks, screw job battle royals, fuck all. Have a wonderful night, bitches.
Nothing but respect.
You better respect the fact that I'm going to tug my pecker in a cashmere sock right now.
I respect
Scooter.
our listeners.
You motherfuckers can see us at www.anotherwrestlingpodcast.com. Not to be confused with www.don'tugyourpeckers.com.
Goddamn, pal.
You know, I'm fucking pissed at you.
Why? What the fuck did I do now?
Here I am, doing your fucking laundry while listening to the podcast, and all I hear you keep saying is, don't tug your pecker. Meanwhile, I have a handful of your crusty socks, you fucking pig, you.